Good morning and welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot with a little bit of astrology for these dailies. So this one's for Thursday, September 7th at 5 a.m. this morning. You can see that the moon, we have the moon here with a square up to Neptune, but a trine to the south node, which is actually, it's really good on one end, a little challenging on the other, but it's a connection. And what I'm thinking is that there's some information that's going to come through from dream time or meditation early this morning. Because I do, even if it's a square, it doesn't matter as long as there's a connection. It's the connections that matter. When things are flat and stale, it's because there's no connection between the planets. We certainly have connections these days, don't we? Oh my goodness. Okay, so with the moon trining the south node up here, there's information that can come through that will help us learn something from the past. Now, of course, with the south node in Libra, it's all about balance and equality and fairness, but it's also justice. So again, this might be one of those heavy news days. That's very possible, especially, the whole time that Mercury's in Virgo, the Sun's in Virgo, even though they're separating for a little while. The Sun and Mercury never do travel too far apart. That's just the way it works, the orbit. But with the moon in Gemini, Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. So it's a lot of information, a lot of learning, and I think that that's actually good. Okay, so the cards. The first one we have here is a Five of Cups. So there's a need to maybe finish up some grief work or things that didn't work out right and go towards what is working. Just think of always crossing. This is why I love the Rider-Waite so much. Crossing that little bridge, crossing that bridge to come home to yourself. When we've done our grief work, we turn around, or when we've gone through regrets, we can eventually at some point lift our heads up, turn around and take what we have. And, I really kind of wish it was more like the 2 cups here or 1 cup here and 3 or 4 cups over here myself. But, this card can be sometimes crying over spilt milk, but we have to grieve. We always have to go through the regrets and the grief or, the losses. We have to process our feelings, no matter what they are. I don't like pushing feelings away. So, but if this morning you're waking up and you're feeling like a failure or you're feeling pessimistic, those are things that you can turn around easily because that's just a trick of the mind and a trick of the ego that you don't need to get caught in. But if you're actually grieving, do your grief work because it will be the healing thing that helps you to come home to yourself, right? Just always remember that little bridge in the background there. Okay, let's see, what else? What else for today? Ooh, okay, death, rebirth. So for some of you, there are some big changes coming in. There's loss, but then it leads to a big change, big rebirth, and moving on. Always tune into that white rose and the transformation. And just not focusing so much on what's gone, but focusing on how your life is opening up in a new way, because it always does. And then we have the Nine of Cups, but it's reversed. So when we have the Nine of Cups come through reversed, this can bring through a bit of, sometimes feeling like there's just some lack of fulfillment, some dissatisfaction in life. It could also be, especially because, 2 cups here, 2 cards of the Suit of Cups. The cups are about relationship, but also about things that we drink. The cups have everything to do with how we're feeling and how we're relating to others. And that can often relate to, drinking. So if we've had too much to drink, because the 3, 4, and 5 of Cups can, be about that. If there's regret about that, there might be some big change that's going through, and you're learning to let that go and rebirth into a place where you don't overdo it. Because the 9 of Cups reverse can definitely be overindulgence. And for some of you, for many of you, probably these cards won't even be for you, but it'll be a lesson as to what the card meanings are. So again, just remember the 9 of Cups reversed often has to do with, sometimes addictions, sometimes financial problems that didn't work out. Sometimes it's about somebody in your life that's just been greedy, and you're learning to walk away from that. I always like to look at this, this one person here at the bottom of this right-hand corner of the Death Rebirth card, because she's kind of resigned. She's like, oh, I'm not even going to look at it. I'm just, But notice, even though this is like the figure of death, this is a white horse, which represents purity, and a white rose, and that's the reminder that nothing is for naught. It's always that the pure parts of you and all of the love that you are, your light and your love, which is the same thing actually, but light can often have really good reason, and the love is just always there. So remember that no matter what has been painful or regretful in the past, it will always, and this is a spiritual law, that the good will always move forward, and we let go of the old, which is, I think, why this woman here is just not even looking at the old or what is dying. This could be because there's a king, there's a crown here. Maybe there's someone who's been powerful in your life that you've lost, and yeah, you're grieving because you still love, no matter how they've been, you still love them, and but we move on. And so in this process of grieving and letting go and creating big change and taking all the love and light with you, just be careful not to drown it out with a lot of alcohol, that's all. Or maybe you're trying to give up coffee, too much coffee, or any other drinks that aren't good for you, because the 9 of Cups can definitely be just any type of drink. Or food, honestly. And it can also be that it was something that you wanted, but it just wasn't realistic. Either the timing is off, or the reason you wanted it, you've realized is no longer there, or that it wouldn't even been a good thing to have. Sometimes relationships are like that. So, yeah, okay. That's all I have for today, you guys. Take good care. Bye.